Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, wherever you are. I am Beck Altar, and I'm going to do my live reaction to the July development update from Ashes of Creation. I haven't done it yet. I've been super busy with work now that certain restrictions have been removed. That my ability to earn a living has somewhat returned. So I've been catching up on a lot of that stuff. And I've only now had a chance to get around to watching the live stream, which I know I'm a week late, a little over a week late. And I'm sorry. If you are watching this on YouTube, please subscribe, like, leave a comment. Otherwise, let's get to it. So I have not seen this. I haven't seen any part of it. So this is all new to me. And I have been playing in the alpha testing.
Hello, everyone, and welcome
I've been trying
to
to
our
anyways.
Ashes of Creation stream for July. Oh my goodness, it has been another month.
It's a
We
twofer
have been
instead of a
so
threefer.
excited, and obviously Alpha 1 has kicked off, and it's been crazy for us. We're just trying to keep all the things moving and grooving, and
It has been crazy.
Yeah, and love seeing.
If you are
everybody
watching
in
this
chat
live,
getting
feel free to
excited.
comment
Very
along
exciting
with me.
stuff here.
Whose idea was it to move back into the studio while the Alpha 1 was going on? Oh, wait.
He might
oh, wait.
be here on the screen. Other people
Didn't
might
I
have
say that
might
maybe
not.
they should delay until they're done moving in?
True.
It's okay though.
It wouldn't
I
have
think
hurt
it's been
anything.
exciting. Obviously, the new office is looking awesome, which we'll talk about in a little bit here. But first and foremost, I just want to get into the things.
I mean, New World's
what we're covering
delaying
today is
for a whole
reminders. We have
month
studio
or
update,
so.
design update. We have environment
It's
art,
okay
and
to
character art,
delay.
and we have our Q&A as per usual.
Hey,
We have a
Zariel.
lot of goodies for you guys, including a video in the design segment. But I know what you guys are really excited about, so I'm going to just get to it. I already see you in chat freaking out. We do have an announcement for a giveaway. It's probably not even started yet because I haven't announced it. But please, if you are interested in winning an Alpha 1 key, go ahead and follow the Twitch channel right here at Ashes of Creation. Super easy.
I already have my alpha.
And type in the word Alpha 1, all lowercase,
delay world.
in the chat.
Yeah, I'm a little
You
behind.
will be in. Do it only once, otherwise you could get booted out. So just one time, should be good.
Yeah, I've been
And
very
obviously
very
we'll be
busy.
keeping an eye on. I know
with
some people are
regular-
concerned
regular
about bots
work
and stuff.
stuff.
Like that. We'll be making sure that we draw a new winner if we see those things as issues. So if you see more keys being drawn, that might be why as well. And all winners will be notified at the end of the stream. So just be active, be in chat, hang out with us, and you will have a chance to win.
How many keys are being handed out?
Well, it's dependent on our viewership. So get more viewers in here, and we'll have more followers, more giveaways.
Wow.
So yeah.
And they do bind the
And
keys
of
to your
course,
accounts.
on the
It's
YouTube
not
side,
like
if you are watching this
you
on
get a
YouTube,
key and then give
we
it
do want to give
away.
you guys an opportunity to get in on it as well.
As far as I know, they don't.
We are
They don't work that way
about
yet.
10 keys. So all you need to do is subscribe to our YouTube channel, leave a comment as to why you think you deserve to win a Alpha 1 key, and then you'll be joining us on, or we'll send you a message on August 2nd, and then that means you'll be able to join us on August 5th for that play.
Yeah.
That
So like I
test
said,
and
I'm a week
for
late.
ever in the Alpha 1 testing.
Or so.
So
10 days.
How
So-
exciting.
exciting, yeah. I know that a lot of people are like, well, I can't afford an Alpha 1 pack, and we totally understand that. And like we've said before, don't purchase if you are not, if you can't afford it. We really just want to have people who are interested in helping join us along the development, and obviously you get some rewards in return for that. So I'm going to go quick into our reminders. Speaking of which, we have our Alpha 1 package that is up right now, which is the Zenith Advent, and that will be swapping over August 4th,
Not a huge
2021
fan.
at 11
I mean,
a.m.
the
So if
leaf
you're interested
outfits
in this package,
are interesting,
a
but
little homage to the ducks for Steven.
Oh, that's so sad.
I know,
You
I'm
just
sad.
remind.
I know, there's a lot of
that was out
these
my mind,
monthly
and now I
packs that
remembered.
are almost
Looking at the
silly.
little baby duck there.
For a
They're
game
so
that
cute.
has a lot of high
It's-
fantasy
they'll
and
forever
stuff
be
like
with
that.
us now,
It's
so
got a
we're
lot of
happy,
this
True.
right?
kind of stuff that's
Um,
Yeah, I like the little flower hat.
Kinda
for
silly.
duckling too.
kind of
Right?
takes away from
I've
it a
just
little
seen
bit,
so
in
many
my
memes
opinion.
with that duck. I was like, we have to have a duck with a little flower hat. It's too cute. And of course, if you're interested, go ahead and check that out over on our website. We also have our FAQ.
But
about
these are
Alpha
gonna be
1 in
pretty
there if you're
ultra rare.
interested in reading that.
You know, not a lot of people are
And
going to
also,
have
if you
these.
still have any
So
further questions, you can reach out to us through our
at
support
least I wouldn't
Twitter,
imagine.
or put in a CS ticket, and we will assist you further on that front. Beyond that, we've got our dev discussions. We've been really enjoying seeing everybody leaving us comments and discussing things with us. I know that we do also have a lot of Alpha 1 discussion going, but beyond Alpha 1, we have a lot of things that we're working on, like guild systems and things like that. And so we're very interested in, and obviously guilds are so important in an MMO. So we really want you guys to get
I'm going to
involved.
try not to
And so this one
pause
is
this. Usually I
a two-part
do a lot of
question. One is
pausing.
for guild members, what kinds of
But I'm
information
recording
do you
this
look for
on
before
my
joining
new
a guild?
computer,
And
which
for guild leaders, what kinds
doesn't
of
have all its
characteristics
hard
are you
drives
looking
yet.
for in
So,
new guild members? Now, what this is going to help us do is we do
in
want
fact,
to
how
have
much
a lot
hard
of
drive do I have
recruitment,
left on this?
systems within our game and on
Not
our
much.
website. And so,
71
like, this is
gigs
gonna
out of
help us make sure
500.
that we have all of the features.
And, you know, I mean,
for
you
you guys
usually
in
want to
those systems.
save
So please, please, please leave
a
us comments
bunch
on that.
for your
And of
page
course,
files and
oh,
stuff
go
like
ahead,
that.
Steve.
Sorry,
So
go-
I'm,
no, I'm sorry, go ahead.
kind of already
You
running,
sure? You don't want to say anything?
Yeah, I was
Go
just
for
gonna
it.
ask if
More hard
have
drive
you
than
ever
I
led a
want.
guild, Margaret?
Oh,
but
Steven, have I ever led a guild?
the
That's okay. I have
M.2
been in
drives will be my
so many
next
guilds where I'm
donation
like, oh, I'm
goals.
just gonna be a healer, or I'm just gonna be a tank. I'm just gonna do that,
So,
and then
gotta meet
you,
this,
That
I
doesn't
think
last
you know
long.
next
me.
one
I'm just
first.
too much of like an OCD person to
I
let
know.
processes go forward and be like, why is this chaos? And then I always end up becoming an
Yes.
officer, and then people leave,
And what did
then
you look for in guild members when you recruited for your guilds?
Well, I am one of those elitist people. I'm
Oh,
unfortunately.
you're so toxic.
I know. I'm
Margaret.
unfortunately because all the guilds that I've really been in growing up, maybe not so much now. I feel like might be more casual. No, I don't know.
My guild's going to
But
be
previously, when I've always played,
reasonably
I've
casual.
always just wanted to be world first, right? Like be the best on the server,
yeah.
be
We
the
wanna
best
have
guild on the
fun,
server. I've always
spend
been,
time
like, the
together,
top
hang
guild
out,
or the
explore.
second to top guild. And so from my perspective, I'm always looking for people with high attendance, people who meet our criteria in
Yeah.
regards to like damage or healing or whatever it might be. And then obviously just people who can follow directions, because
Oh yeah.
that is like the worst thing, to be in a raid with people who just like are not paying attention. And then obviously, you know,
We used
being
to
able to hear and speak is
Yes.
or be able to like communicate,
be
I
on
guess.
comms.
Yeah, some form of communication, whether
Yeah.
that's text or voice or whatever it might be. We try to
Yeah,
accommodate
not like
for
World of
all
Warcraft, where
people,
everybody
but,
just has deadly
know,
boss
you feel
mods.
the
I
do
always
thing.
used
Mob.
to.
Yeah,
I
and
always
you don't
used
even have
have,
to
like,
talk to
so in
anybody.
my
You just
guild that I
listen
led
for the-
gosh, I don't know,
the
16
sound
years,
and
17 years almost.
Yeah.
read the text on the
um,
screen.
across many MMOs. I would just recruit based off of like personality, but I would have like contingents within the guild that were very elitist or were more casual or were
Which
like
is,
you
you
know
know,
crafting,
makes
and
raiding
farming
boring
and
as
that kind
hell.
of stuff. And I wanted everybody, but if they were
It's one thing I like
an
about
elite
Ashes.
kind of,
They're not
you know,
looking to
wanted
have any of
do
that stuff.
world first and that kind of stuff, they would be delegated off under a particular
different
officer
subcategory?
into a different
Yeah, it's
exactly.
going to
That would be
force
like our
people, I think, to
strike team,
communicate
right?
better
And they
and
would be like
be
you
more
have to have different
involved.
types of tryouts to get into those.
Keep your
to those
attention on task.
departments, we would call them essentially.
I mean,
Hey,
literally,
I
I'd
think
fall
that works
asleep
too.
in WoW
I think
in
people do
raids
all kinds
as
of
main
things. For
healer.
instance, when it came to like PlanetSide,
I'd be
for
nodding
instance, that
off
was
in
a little
trash.
different. We definitely wanted as many people, but we had
This is just so
departments.
boring.
We had like our air, our armor, our
You know,
our
you just wait for
infantry,
that
and even within those, we
klaxon
had like
for
very
deadly
specific
boss.
things that
You
they
know,
were doing.
get out of
So
bed.
I can see
or-
that working. I think it just depends on like what type of guild you want, right?
I mean, really,
I
it
was focused
made
on like that
raiding and
endgame
WoW
raiding
like the
content
cha-cha
for me, so
slide.
I
You know,
just wanted
slide
like
to
a
the left,
tight-knit crew
slide
that
to the right.
got shit done, I guess is the best way to put it.
Everybody,
Did you have like
HOT.
like a membership process? So for instance,
Yeah.
like they had to apply first and then they had like a little trial period.
So what would happen is usually either a recruiter who was reaching out or applicants that would want to join, you know, saw us on the server or whatever, they'd have to submit an application, fill out a form on our website, right? And
Yeah.
then one of our recruiters would kind of, based off of their interests in the game, would assign them to a particular officer of one of the departments, and then they would go through that department's interview
Steven's
process.
like running a company.
I know.
You think I'm bad?
like for example, one of our coders, Alex Kudoli, he was one of my commanders, and he led the mercenary team, which essentially would like go out and seek like services from other guilds out on the server that needed either help escorting their trade runs or participating in sieges and helping along those things. So he would like be an outreach person, talk to other guild leaders, and he would recruit people that was like, that were typically ready at any given moment to participate in those types of events, and he would put them through
Another
like
good way of doing
PvP
that
kind of
is
testing
you
and
do
fighting
random
with the leaders
pugs,
and the
and then you just
officers
kind
and
of see
stuff. And then
who's
based on that, they would get initiated as a recruit, and then eventually
doing a
become
really
member,
good
and then they
job
could see
in the pug,
opportunities
and
as a
then you
sergeant
try to
or an
recruit them
officer
that
under
way.
him. And then I had multiple, what I
Whether
would
they're in
call
a guild or
commanders
not,
that
right?
led each of the
Because
departments, and they would have
clearly
their
their
officer
guild's not
corps,
raiding.
and then that's how kind of we
If
split it up.
that
But I mean,
Keep in
particular
mind, Steven's
member
guild was
is
massive, so
Yeah.
that's why they needed that much structure
had
in
like
order to
running
keep
a
chaos
pug
from
raid.
I think we had
a
like
pug group.
17,000 people in the
Yeah.
guild at one point, so it was a lot.
And I'm over here with like, we've got like 40, 50 people, depending. Well, I mean, EQ days, obviously there's a lot more people, but I think it depends on like the game that you're playing and how many people you need to raid. And then you need
But-
backup people just in case, right?
I don't plan on playing Ashes like
Yeah,
it's a job.
that's- We're going
That's
off
fun.
on a
I love
tangent.
those discussions. I love
I
the
think
guild
I think
stuff.
that's kind of
Sorry,
what
I
burned
took
me
us
out
on that.
No, it's
of
okay.
World of
I like
Warcraft
chatting
to
about it
begin
too,
with.
but I
It's just
think me and
playing
you
the
could
game
talk
too
about
much like
this
a
game stuff,
Oh, yeah.
right?
like a job. So I think being in a more
But
casual
beyond
guild,
that question, our next one that's coming
like not
up next
completely
month is
casual.
gonna
I
be
want
about
some
new player
structure,
experience, and
but
this is so important. I think, especially if I know
yeah,
that
I
we
just
do
I
have
can't
some
play.
people who
I
are like,
can't
"This is
I
gonna
can't
be
play
my
a,
first
MMO like it's a job
Really kind
anymore.
of give us as much information as you can.
I'll
or
save
for
that
those
for
of you who have been
Satisfactory or
through lots of tutorials, or
Tribes of
lots
Midgard or
gameplay
Minecraft or
experiences, walk
Valheim.
us through like what you think is important for a new player experience. Obviously, we have things.
Well,
in
we're all
mind,
going to
but we
be new
wanna make sure that
players when the
we're,
game launches.
on key with what you guys think as well.
So,
And of course, we also have
new
our
player
guild
experience.
gatherings,
We
which are
want the
specifically
servers
about
to
guild stuff
to
because, like,
function.
as we said, guilds are very important to community, and obviously MMOs are really all about guilds. It's all about working together as a group, whether that's a small group like I prefer or a massive one that Steven prefers.
Well, to be fair, that we didn't have like 17,000 in one game.
Let's
right?
see,
We
internal
were a guild
conflict.
For 16,
Multiple
17
orgs.
Do you do it
years
like
over
Utopia?
across many different MMOs. And
Where
over
there
that
can only
time,
be one
the
leader?
email list builds, the forum group builds.
Well,
the-
spoilers.
you
We
know.
haven't watched the
In
show.
that case, yes, I have been
Yes.
part of an organization like that.
There you go. And we had
so-
different chapters based on the game. And
Yeah,
some of the
we did
commanders
have
would go
that.
and play certain games and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, that's different. I see what you're saying.
No, if we had 17,000 in a single server, that'd be crazy.
Yeah,
We'd
you would
be
just
playing
take
with
over the server.
ourselves.
So for guild gatherings, we asked you, what makes a problematic member for your guild, and how do you handle situations as they arise? What expectations do you set up front, and what are the consequences for failing to meet them?
When I'm
I
looking
think a
up,
lot
I'm
of
looking
this,
up at my chat.
Obviously, guild conflict can be
Let's have a
good things, but
another
it also
monitor,
can be not so great. And on
TV
our front, we want to make sure
up
that
on the
we're
wall.
providing you guys the tools that you need to, in game, solve some of these issues.
Guess
as
I
well,
could probably just bring
which,
this
will
down.
be interesting. I don't think there's a lot of games that do
Let's,
that, so we definitely want your opinions. Toss
I'm
those
not
over
playing
to
a
us
full
over on the
screen
forums
game
right
here,
now.
so
We'd love to see
I can
that.
st- I
And
can read
next
your guys'
month
chat.
we'll be asking you about your ideal guild members. So definitely.
And it doesn't look like
stay
I'm rolling
tuned
my
for
eyes
that.
at you guys all
We're
the time.
Curious to see what you guys have to say on that front. And moving on from there.
Well, dealing with
Of course, we wanna
conflict is
remind you
often
of
based
the
off of a
upcoming playtest.
misunderstanding.
Obviously, right now we are in Alpha 1. We are going until August 13th, so we really appreciate you all joining us. There's actually a playtest right now going on Thursday, July 29th at 11 a.m. It started, and it will be going till Monday, August 2nd, and then we will also, continue to have more testing up till August 13th. And if you are an Alpha 1 key holder, you will be joining us post Alpha 1 for like spot testing too. So, stay tuned. It's not just for Alpha 1, but that is kind of the gist of that.
Yep.
I know people have continued to ask that. It's in our FAQ as well.
Yeah, most of the
And
time
to
you
be
have
fair,
a
just to expand on
problem
that topic a little
with
bit.
a member.
While
It's,
we
it's
will have
the
specific
misunderstanding,
spot
it's
tests for
bad
certain systems as we
communication.
develop them post the Alpha 1 month.
I mean, if somebody's
It
just
should
toxic,
be
you just
expected and
get rid of
understood
them.
That after this Alpha 1 month, there will be probably a significant amount of downtime where there won't be spot testing as we kind of break apart a lot of systems, take what we learn from Alpha 1 month, and implement and iterate upon those learnings, right? So
100%.
there's going to be several months probably worth of significant downtime where there will not be access to spot testing, where we are going to go in and really rejigger a lot of systems.
Yeah, we're excited.
With a
And then, you know,
J.
when when you hop in and play again, it's going to be a, you know, a new experience. Of course, if you have Alpha One access, be sure to check out our Alpha One forums as well as Discord. That's going to be where all the information is rolling. We really try our best to be there for you, communicate with you almost 24/7. So, well, during the playtesting, definitely 24/7. Toast and I have been doing our best, and now we have a new homie on our community team as well. So hopefully people are
Wonder
being
where
kind
Bacon
and nice
is, because
to
usually Bacon's part of all
Vecnar,
this.
who is our new junior CM as well.
Since he's the
We're
new.
initiating him. He's downloading all the information, and soon. he will-
Yes, and a big shout out and hearts in chat for Margaret and Sarah. They have been, or Lieutenant Toast and Luperza. They have been an absolute unbelievable godsend. They are working their butts off and doing an amazing job covering the testing periods, taking crazy shifts. I'm actually sad about the shifts that they're taking, but I'm glad now that they have Cody to assist, and they've been doing such a great job. So amazing work to our community team. Really great job.
Yeah, we know you appreciate it, us.
Absolutely.
And of
Yeah,
course,
they definitely need
Sarah and
more
I,
CMs.
this is
The
the stuff we
volunteers,
love. We
I
love
don't
being able to,
feel
like, chat with you
necessarily do a
guys
very
and
good job.
hop in game
There's
and be
definitely
there for you and support
favoritism
you,
on the forums.
and answer questions.
That's why I
That's the
stay
stuff
off
that we
of
It's
the
love.
so
forums.
funny. I
But-
said hearts
For
in
the most
chat
part.
right as I think Sarah put slow mode on, so nobody could put hearts.
Way to go, Sarah. No, I'm just kidding. There you go.
'Cause they
I
got
think
a
she's
they got a
released
decent
them.
amount of toxic
I think she's
people on
released
the
them.
forums.
Slow them
They're
down.
subtly toxic.
It's getting crazy in the chat. That's for
White
sure.
knights.
Which we love seeing. We love seeing you guys all be very active. Also, a reminder that the NDA has been lifted. That means you can stream, you can take screenshots, you can create videos. We've been loving watching all the content. I have actually not been able to watch all of the content. There's that much content right now. I usually watch every single thing
Same.
and read every single thing that's posted. I have a huge backlog.
So yeah, so
of
be
stuff,
good
but
to
we're
get some
definitely
good
putting together reporting
community
for
people
Alpha One in regards to the
that
content that's
aren't
being created
community
on our
members or
press
community
side, what's going
volunteers.
on, and obviously Toast has been putting together a lot of reporting, and so has our CS team. Adam has been amazing putting together reports for our development team in regards to, you know, all of the issues that you guys have been encountering, all of your feedback and suggestions, and we will be doing some big reporting towards the end as well. And we will do a recap. I think people have continually asked us, like, when will we see the data and what you guys are going to do? So we will be posting something after Alpha One in regards to that. It'll be kind of like a recap of what we learned, maybe some data for you guys, some specific data, and then also like what we're doing as we move forward towards Alpha 2. So just stay tuned for that. We'll definitely give you guys that information. We've been very communicative on that front. And last but not least, the last thing I have for quick updates here is just
And
a
they've definitely
reminder
done a
on the
really
Content Creator
good
program.
job,
I know people have been asking
um,
about it.
with
The
their
applications
communication.
are now open, so definitely go ahead and apply.
Yeah, as far as
but we are
the
not
servers and
inviting
everything.
new folks into the program yet. We had so many people interested, and obviously we want to support all of them, and we want to give you guys as much love and support to help.
I
build our
applied. I don't
community
think I'll
and
make
create
it.
content that we are actually
Yeah.
hiring an influencer
I
relations
think the
specialist to help with
online
us.
radio
They'll
is
also
just
be
a little
helping with
too
a sub program
unique
as
of
well that
a
is called the Content
concept.
Creator Training Academy, and that academy will be allowing people who
You
maybe
know, and if
aren't
they're getting
quite in the content creator program, but we know that they could
and if they're
be.
looking for
We
like
want to give
for
them an opportunity
influencing and
to help them
influencers,
get to the point where
you know,
they
they're not
are
gonna
able to.
they
And
won't
obviously, not
understand online
everyone's even
radio
going to make it into that, and but we will message you whether you get
because
into
it's
the program,
alien,
whether
right? No,
you're in the training
very few
program,
people do
or whether
online
you don't
radio.
make it, and what you need to do to be able to reapply again. So we will get back to you. Apologies for the slow. I've been interviewing people like crazy. I'm actually in a second round of interviews because the first round did not supply me what I needed. So our recruitment staff has been like, yeah, we have a recruiter now, which is awesome. It has been.
Two.
Yeah, too. It's been exciting. They've gotten me some new recruits, and I've been just powering through interviews. I have like a bunch next week as well. So we're trying our best to get those going as quickly as possible. And once we have them on staff, we'll start churning it out. I think that's all I got on reminders. Stephen, walk us through the studio update.
The studio update. I think as of yesterday, all workstations in the new studio are completed and set up and constructed. So that's
Hooray.
exciting.
IKEA furniture for the
Yes.
win.
It was touch and go there for a moment because we had some delays with the furniture and we had some
The
construction
furniture's so
issues.
nice, like the stand-up desks. I'm so excited for it.
Okay, funny story. So so this is a very, I mean, it's an interesting story. So we have multiple conference rooms across, the studio, right? I don't know. I think there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's like 7 or 8 conference
7 or
rooms.
8, yeah.
Yeah, 7 or 8 conference rooms across the studio. One of the conference rooms, the construction crew was finishing up like last touches and adding some of the windows and stuff, and they accidentally removed the door to the conference room on one of the sides, so it only has like one door that's accessible from the entrance lobby. And I walk over there and I'm like, that's strange. Shouldn't there be a door? I mean, how do you get into this conference room unless you go outside and like from the entrance
Do
lobby?
they put a wall there?
They put a wall there.
I didn't know this. Oh
So,
my god.
I
Is this
was
in the
like,
design
I
area?
was
or-
like, I said, somebody get me the designs. I need to see why they put a wall here. And then they got me the designs from the architects, and sure enough, there was a wall that was placed there.
Wow.
And I was like, oh no, now we're gonna have the demo crew come out and make the door again. But it's been an interesting process. Some delays in the furniture, some interesting construction stuff. But happy to say everything's looking great. All of the workspace stuff is in. Now we're just waiting on kind of the ancillary furnitures, the couches and the cafeteria tables, and the game lounge area and some of the conference tables. But everything's looking great. Very excited. I think
I'm looking
we
forward
have
to the
about
tour video.
It's the
40 or so
exercise.
people.
It's part of our exercise regiment. You have to walk around to get to the meeting.
Yes, exactly. We have about 40
Get your
people that
steps
are
in.
currently in the studio, and then everyone else should be phasing in over the next, I would say, 2 to 3 weeks. I know that Zim is hard at work getting everything planned there. That guy is a
Powerhouse.
absolute powerhouse stud. He is
I love Zim.
amazing. Zim is couldn't give more kudos to Zim. He has done a lot of work,
And then,
he
you know,
has been
I've known him
bearing a lot
restrictions
of
will
like
come
load.
back
15
in, and
15 years now, probably.
it's starting to
Wow,
get
He's awesome. He's
cooler
just a great
out there,
dude, too.
you know?
Like outside of being a badass when it
And
comes to work.
a great D&D player. I mean, just
He's
Should be
so
sitting in my
funny.
new
I feel
chair,
so bad
but-
for him. He plays in a D&D.
My new
campaign
chair
with
gives
me,
me a
and
swollen
he has
foot.
a rogue who just
I don't
in
understand
combat
that.
just rolls
I think it's
daddy
just
ones
the
like
way
crazy,
it
and he
presses
just
against my
rolls
legs
with
or
it.
something.
I feel so
think
bad. But
the-
out
I
of
think the
combat,
last-
he like is great for the party. He does a lot of awesome
I
stuff.
think the last session we had in Pathfinder.
I think I'll try
his
and sit in it
character
again
Was
and
a
see if I can
I think he was a human
figure it out. There might be
rogue as
something I have to
well.
change.
Yeah, but
And
he had better
got,
luck
He got
then.
knocked
It's fairly,
out.
I don't
Well,
know,
he got knocked
modular.
out and was like
It's like sitting,
captured
like,
by
right
a
there.
pirate crew and was on a ship, and then the ship
Looking
got
at it.
attacked by like some kraken, and I think he's like in the middle of the sea somewhere right now. But, anyways,
Sounds like
Put on
so.
my hat.
I can
yeah,
see that.
exactly.
That's usually what I play when I
But,
play my
no,
Viking
things are going
games
great on the
or when I'm
studio.
playing my
Things
dwarf.
are also going good on the recruiting and
There you
hiring
go.
front. We've had multiple new
Give you guys something to
employees
look at.
starting over the last month alone. Some great new faces on the team that we're very excited to have.
Feel
And
free to
then
comment
also
as well
looking forward,
on anything that we're
Alpha
watching.
1
If
has
you have
been
any
going very good. We've
questions,
been getting a lot of data, a
I'll
lot
do
of
my best to
information,
answer them.
a lot of areas
I
that
have-
we want to focus
I have
on,
been in the alpha.
Well, we're starting to focus on already, but also post Alpha 1, that we have some great ideas to sit down with the design teams, and take a look at some of our systems and mechanics and documentation and reevaluate.
And if you are watching
some
this on
things,
YouTube, please
um,
like,
and employ
subscribe.
some changes. So things are going really
know,
good
on
on the
Twitch.
studio front. It's an
give me a
exciting
follow.
time to be at Intrepid.
Yeah, it's very exciting. It's been cool for me too.
I haven't been
being
playing
able to
too much
see,
of the
you know,
alpha
all the new
lately, just
folks
because
as
I've been
well.
so busy.
Because we're
Hi, kitty
you
cat.
know, we've been in
Oh, yeah.
lockdown forever, so
I
meeting
know.
people face to face is so weird. Even my own staff, like we've been on camera, obviously, but like we've kind of got to meet a little bit at the 4th of July party. So finally being able to at least see some
Oh,
people.
that 4th of July party was
Yeah.
fun.
Hopefully
It was
they'll
so
be able to
nice.
do their 24-hour
And our team has just grown even
Um,
from the
Yeah.
last time. It's crazy.
stream
Half
again.
the people are like new people.
Those are fun to
but
watch.
on that front, let's move on to design as you kind of segued over there.
Yeah,
I know we have a video, but maybe you want to talk a little bit about Alpha One
sure.
and what data has been like helpful for the team and kind of how you guys are utilizing that and making changes.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, as many of you know, because we've spoken about this so often, you know, Alpha 1 is not intended to be a content test. So, on the
And there's
content
not a lot
side,
of content.
there's really not a lot that we are
Not
gleaning
much there.
out of Alpha 1. However, on a mechanics and systems standpoint, you know, there is a lot of information that we've been taking player feedback from, kind of digging through a lot of the content creators' videos that they've created, watching streams, watching all of the logs and the data that we collect from the test sessions. Um, and kind of iterating upon that, not just you know planning for post Alpha 1, but also making changes during Alpha 1. That, for example, the video you're going to see here in a little bit is a short video, but I wanted to record it this morning just to give you an idea of you know how we take feedback and we incorporate change, right? So, for example,
Which they've
on the
done a
combat front,
fantastic
obviously
job
this was
of.
an
I would say
important
it's
thing that
been
we wanted to
very
start revamping.
phenomenal just how
The engineering
responsive
team
they've
and
been
our design team
when they've
specifically,
had
you know, Adam Pippich and
some issues. There's
and
almost
Trad Thompson
always
and
something
Brian
different
Ferguson,
that you can
and
notice
you know,
every
they've been
time
working
you
to kind of
log into the
test some
client.
things out that we're going to probably deploy next week with
You know,
next
they were
week's
having
test
some
session.
serious issues with
We were
DDoS
hoping to have it
attacks
done
here
this week,
recently,
but for those of you who you know may
which
not
is
understand kind of the
unfortunate.
process of how
I
like
don't know why people
development
do
works
stuff
and
like that.
promotion from different
You know,
branches
it's
of the
just
development stream, you know, works.
I don't
First,
get
we
it.
have to
That's
deploy a
rude.
particular
It's very
change
rude.
or changes that we're making in the game to a development branch, and then it moves up based on you know the QA testing to a stage branch, and then to a production or a release branch, and then that's when the players start to get a feel for things. And we want to make sure that QA's had time to kind of vet the changes, that they're not impacting you know different areas of the game or causing crashes or you know having kind of bad performance,
Which
right?
still
So
happens from time to time,
one of the
but
changes we're going to see
you know
next week is on
that's
melee
going to
combat, and
happen.
we've gotten a lot of feedback from players that you know it's not as desired for you know combat to lock a player in place as they're performing their melee attacks. Now, some of you who have been following along for, the Ashes of Creation project will remember back in the APOC days, we initially tested with not having root motion as part of the melee attacks. And a lot of the feedback we got was that things felt very floaty and not impactful. That didn't feel like there was a lot of weight to the melee attacks. And so that's when we kind of changed gears a little bit back then, back to or to a root motion kind of based combat attack, and we got some positive feedback there. We incorporated some kind of lunging attacks and whatnot. Now that we have
Battle royals are different from MMOs, though.
you know the current melee attacks in Alpha 1, we're getting feedback again that we want that kind of ability to move. So just to give you preface to this video, it's going to give you a preview kind of next week of what players in Alpha 1 are going to have hands-on testing. And we've presented it in such a way that it's more A/B type testing so that players who are participating with melee combat can press a hotkey to go back and forth between root motion or this more free flow attack animation and kind of give
I
us
haven't tried
feedback
this
on
yet.
that difference. And this kind of helps us to tune kind of the combat to get a better idea and a sense of direction on more of the front-facing changes we should see. Now, a lot of the changes, though, to combat, I will say, have been on the back end. And the engineering team has done an amazing job, and design has done a great job kind of converting a lot of the abilities and skills over to this new combat system in the back end. Next step for that is going to be transitioning all of the NPCs and AI off of the old combat system and onto the new back-end combat system, which should drastically improve performance and expand upon the kind of types of functionality that design wants to see and have the ability to utilize when designing encounters and types of NPCs and the AI and how they kind of interact with the players. So this little video is just going to give you it's like 7 minutes long or whatever, but it's going to show you some of the changes between what the old combat with root motion was and what the new combat that we're going to be testing next week will look like, specifically with regards to melee weapons.
All right. I will go ahead and play that, and we'll see you guys in a moment.
Hello, glorious Ashes of Creation community, and welcome to another video inside Alpha 1. I'm excited to show you a little bit of stuff that we've been working on the combat side. You are currently looking at the development branch of Ashes of Creation. For those of you who don't know, Ashes of Creation has multiple branches of development. We call our combat environment, our development branch, our stage branch, our production release branch. For Alpha 1, and those of you who are participating in Alpha 1 as testers, you're currently on our release branch. That's where changes have seen the most amount of quality assurance testing and are solid and stable for us to put out to the public and get feedback on, get testing on. But today I'm going to show you something that has not yet been promoted up to the release branch. And is still under significant testing, but I want to show you some of the directions that we're taking based on feedback from the community with regards to combat, specifically with regards to melee combat. So for those of you who've been watching some of our amazing content creators out there who are streaming and creating YouTube videos around Ashes of Creation's Alpha 1, you may have noticed that with melee combat, when a player attacks, they move forward, what we call root motion. Let me see if I can demonstrate this. There you go. So you'll see here, as I'm clicking my Q attack, I am swinging and moving forward with the attack. Now, this essentially creates a little bit of weight for the combat, for the melee weapons, but at the same time, it restricts player input for the ability to kind of change directions and move with a particular target, right? Now I can change kind of the direction.
It's not even necessarily realistic either, because
I don't have complete control.
You know, I can swing a sword and not lunge forward like that.
So one of the changes that we are playing with right now
so definitely
is actually going back a little bit, a couple of years to APOC combat. Which was the ability for the character to kind of have complete control as they were moving. Now, back then, when we tried this, we got a lot of feedback that it felt very floaty, that wasn't as impactful, you couldn't really feel the weight. And we're going to be playing with some of the dials that help to communicate that weight, such as the visual effects, the audio, screen shake, the animations, the kind of torso twisting and movement. And we're going to try to make that more impactful. But right now, we want to get players' feedback on this change, which will probably get rolled out next week into the live environment, into the release branch of Ashes of Creation's Alpha 1. But I'm going to show you a little sneak peek of it today, and those of you who are watching and tuning into the stream can give your feedback in Twitch, and go to the forums, go on Reddit, go on Discord, chat about this, and let us know.
You seek Yoda.
There's
It's
Yoda.
rolled out to players next week. What we're going to do is we're going to include
Welcome,
a
Mr.
costume
Moo.
that can be used, and players can kind of A/B test.
Doing my
between
live
the
reaction video.
motion melee attacks and the non-root
Make sure
motion,
you're subscribed to my
melee
YouTube.
attacks. So by pressing comma,
You'll be able to just search for
move
Becca
forward
Altar, I show up.
while swinging your weapon. And
That's a
this
nice
will
change,
allow you
I think.
complete control over your weapon attacks for melee.
Now, can you just stand there and do it too?
Little crab dude. Hey, buddy. How you doing? Come on over. Uh-oh. There we go.
Okay, good. Yeah, I like that. I don't like every time you swing, you lunge forward, because if you don't clip properly, you walk through the mob and then you miss half your attacks or whatever.
Over my character.
So I think that's a lot better.
Crab guy. There we go. Now let me actually switch over. Let me switch over to action. There we go. And let's see if we can find another crab person, or not person, but creature. Sorry. Actually, little known fact: crab creatures are actually people in Ashes. No, I'm just kidding. There we go.
Yeah, so it's basically the same thing. That's action combats. It's more or less the same thing versus tab targeting. And weaken them up a little. Soften them up. Which?
So let's do one. Oh wait, actually, there's like a corrupted dude over here. He might be a little much for me, but I can still play with it. Uh-oh. I keep doing that. I'm so sorry.
Keeps alt-tabbing or whatever.
Alright, buddy. Whoa.
It's like that spell's a little off. Unless it's supposed to do that. It's like it's like it's zipping through them. That's like, yeah, that dude's like a boss.
Oh yeah, he's doing damage to me.
Yeah, it's 13 plus, which means it's probably the equivalent of like a level 20. You know, Steven's only level 15, so it's, yeah, got to be a good 5 plus levels higher.
Run.
Yep, run away!
Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed a little demonstration of some of the work that's being done.
So I definitely like that change in
some of the
combat.
Changes that are being made
I
based on
approve.
player feedback
Not that
from
my
Alpha
opinion
1.
matters, but
The
I
testers
definitely
have
like
done
that a lot
great
more.
job over the past few weeks, showcasing. not
Yeah,
only
I
the
definitely don't
community,
like
what
that
the progress has
lunging
been on the development of Ashes
attack.
Ascension, but
I found
also,
that
helping to illuminate to us
very
some good
annoying.
ideas and some changes that we want to act on. Always,
You know, I felt like I
taking into
wasn't in control
consideration
of my
player
character
feedback
when
is
you're
such
just
an important part of
spamming the
development
melee
process,
button.
and we appreciate everybody chiming in for that. And with that, I will see you back on stream shortly.
All right. Well, hope you all enjoyed that. Getting a little
Yeah.
sneak peek, seeing Steven continuing his alt button.
I know. Unfortunately, Alt is my push-to-talk key, and Tab, I was trying to target the creature, so it alt-tabbed me.
I saw a lot of comments in chat. Not really many questions necessarily, but
Yeah.
you know, in regards to like a lot of feedback. If you do have feedback, definitely go send that over to us on the forums. Like Steven said, you can post it any platform.
See,
We are
my
checking
line
all of
of
those
work?
things, but the forums is
Is
the
that
best way for us
live?
because Toast.
Well,
puts together
this
these
is
amazing reports,
from
and it just makes it
July
easy for us
30th.
because we own that platform. We can like see the data.
I'm
a little easier
live.
than if we're trying to like access data from like a social platform. But obviously we
So
do
yeah,
get
that
feedback from
was
everywhere.
for an upcoming
Something that
update.
you
The
did
servers are
mention
down
prior
right
to
now.
playing the video
I guess that
was
update would
that
be
these combat
up
changes,
already.
the combat changes that you guys
So,
are working towards
it would have been
are
an
going to help
update from.
performance. Can you go into a little
Yeah.
bit
Yeah,
more
that should have
detail
been. I
about,
think
like,
they said it
what
around
types
like
of changes
a few days
help with
ago
performance and like
that
maybe
that was
how
supposed to
the
be
players will
implemented.
experience that change?
Yeah, it's a little bit on the more technical side, at
People
least
like
when
the
discussing.
technical side, though.
That's true. It kind of has to do with how combat. Previously, we used to create a lot of actors in the game world, and that can be a pretty expensive thing to do. And we moved away from that predominantly when it comes to specific abilities. And, you know, obviously, there's still a lot of work to be done to continue to propagate those changes across, not just from the PC ability standpoint, but also onto the NPC side as well. And that's something that's going to be done post Alpha 1 from the design team and from engineering, so that engineering no longer has to support the old ability system and combat system with regards to NPCs. So this specifically when there's a lot of players in a specific area and the server's having to process, you know, RPCs and kind of the generation of these abilities, it's not as taxing on the network side to send this traffic, so to speak. So without getting too technical into it, you know, generally from a performance standpoint, we're looking towards massive, you know, players participating in castle sieges, and we have to design the ability system, the combat system, to be most performant in those scenarios. So you may not notice any performance change per se on a like single creature or in a group environment. I mean, you might feel it being more responsive, you know, quicker, essentially on activation and seeing it chug a little less. But it's really going to be something that's apparent, especially for those of you who participated in testing over the past like 8-9 months as we were leading up into Alpha 1. You've probably seen what you're experiencing now in larger battles, and when we did some castle sieges a few weeks ago, that the responsiveness, there was no lag between key input and the activation of particular abilities, and that it is performing in a much more level way.
And the noise is my gardener in the background. And Like it sometimes falls on the live stream day, so I'm just like, there's nothing I could do about it, homies. But I try to mute myself otherwise. But thank you for giving some
Yeah,
more
well, I
detail
got
to
it
that. I
maxed
think
out
people
now.
love
Yeah.
hearing, you know,
I think it's just the
like
nature of their
minor
videos.
details
I don't know.
than just kind of like overarching stuff. Now, obviously,
Hopefully it's better.
the video that you're seeing and that Stephen went over, that's not completely done, not final. We still have a lot of changes that we would make. And if we do decide to
Right.
go with the new changes, there's like some animation changes and things like
Must
that
be
that
something
we'll be
between the
making
browser
as
and
well
OBS
to
because
make it
it
look even better
sounds
as we move forward.
plenty loud.
Yeah,
to
keep
me.
that in
it's
mind.
it's important to note that like what you're seeing here again is kind of bare bones implementation of this non-root motion melee attack, and it
Even on the
doesn't
VR
have a
or,
lot of the
and the
ancillary
view meter,
components
it
that
was
we call bells and
full
whistles,
green,
so to
so
speak,
now it's
on
peeking
the
into the
on the
red.
base system. So that
But
includes like the visual effects and the weapon trailing and the impact effects and the camera, very minute camera shaking, and the audio and the audio attenuation and the split body animation and the torso moving and the there's a lot of components here that need to get touched up essentially or continue to be polished and implemented upon, and that's what's really going to make the combat stand out even more so, at least on the front end, the visual front end of that thing. So right now we're just trying to get a feel from the testers, like which do you prefer? Which is the preferred method of melee combat? Do you like having that, constant control over movement at any given point in time?
Yes.
Or do you like the more weighted feeling of that root motion attack?
No, I want control,
And
because
I
what
think
if you
that
have
what
a
we've seen
mob that has
predominantly as
a zone
feedback
of
from
bad,
players is they
and you're
like
sitting there
that
doing your
more
melee
constant
thing, and it's
control over
it's
their character movement.
making you
And
move
part of the reason
forward,
why
and you move
we're
past whatever
utilizing
you're
Alpha
attacking
1 to
into the
collect
bad.
information and
You
feedback
you
from
don't
the
have
testers,
control
and not just
of
testers,
your
but
character,
from the audience, from people who
you
are
know,
watching
in that way.
the streams and the
You know,
content
and then
creators create
everybody's
content around
yelling
Alpha
at
1
you.
is to have people go on the forums, go on Discord, go on Reddit, go on Twitter,
No,
and
'cause if I
let
pause,
us know
this
your
will be a
thoughts
3-hour
on
video.
this, because right now is a very formative part of the creation of the game, and the more players express their opinions on things, the better we're capable of gleaning insight from the preference of our
Trying to
player
keep
base,
these
and
short.
that's such an important part of the creation of a game, right? Because at the end of
Yeah.
the day, we're making this game for you guys, so you might as well come
Kind
and
of for
give
us too,
feedback.
Well,
I mean, yes, it's my
You ever
dream game,
watched
it's
my
our dream
reaction
game, it's our
videos?
passion, but at the end of the day, we're doing this for you guys, the
Yeah.
community. So
I'm still
being
louder in the
involved
video,
and convincing your friends to get involved in the discussion, not saying they have to come and buy the game or participate in the alpha, but just watching the updates, watching the development, and having that cool component of having a voice in something rather than
Well, I'm
just
recording
waiting
this
until
on
it's
the
done
new
and it being
computer.
shut down your
I don't
throat.
have that
Like,
much
you
hard
get to
drive
give
space.
feedback here, and that's an important part.
yeah, I think that like the new
My
changes
videos are
will
going to
be
be
something that PvP players
gigabytes
will really like too, because it's a lot more
already.
control over your character. But we'll see. We'll see, because we used to have it previously, and then we moved to the other one afterwards. So
Yeah.
Really should buy
we're
one of
constantly making changes, constantly
the other hard drives I
doing
need.
iterations. Now, let's talk a little bit about the future. Going into Alpha 2, heading forward, can we talk a little bit about, we've already had some of our teams working towards Alpha 2 already. Can you talk a little bit about what those things are, and then also kind of like
Yeah, 'cause
after Alpha 1 is
2 is in
complete,
the actual
what
game
folks
world.
can what they can expect from us. I know you
Sure.
talked a little bit about how we're going to
Yeah.
take time,
do
but maybe go
believe.
into more details about like what that time is going to be spent doing, and then going forward, what they can expect beyond that.
Yeah. So, typically when you think of the term alpha, right, you're thinking that all core systems are in place, and we've kind of split up our alpha into Alpha 1 and Alpha 2. Alpha 1 not quite having every core system in place, but having some of the more integral core systems kind of present and available to be tested early, so that and the reason for the reason why we wanted to do it that way is because many of our systems are very interdependent. They're very connected to one another, and there are some very centralized systems such as the node system, combat, general AI, the open world aspect of an Unreal Engine 4 game, the massively multiplayer networking components, performance related server setup and architecture, the distribution of server processes across an open world. Like, those are very fundamentally core systems that we wanted to get in the hands of players in live testing earlier rather than later, and waiting for all of the other ancillary systems that are also core to be present. And that's typically what an alpha refers to, right? Is having all core systems in place. But that's really what Alpha 2 will be intended to be.
So that's some alphas have just gray box stuff.
Right. Well, we would call those, we would really call those more technical alpha, or vertical slices of a particular system, right? This is our Alpha 1 is a bit more than that, obviously, but it's not quite a full alpha in the sense of having every core system in place. And that's why we have an Alpha 2, because the Alpha 2 is intended to have pretty much every core system in place to some degree or another, not fully fleshed out, not fully contentized. And
it's good to hear that,
so
because
to speak.
That's been one of my criticisms.
As we leave Alpha 1 and start to trek towards Alpha 2, that's when you're going to start seeing more of the content flow in. That's when you're going to start seeing systems flesh out a little bit more. That's when you're going to start seeing those systems appear in a little bit more of a polished state, and that's when you're going to start getting to this idea of having a kind of fully fleshed out world, because that's the last opportunity in the game's development lifespan before we're hitting those beta milestones, and really that's when all the content should be in place by those betas, and being tested and localized for different markets and whatnot. So as we kind of leave Alpha 1, we're going to spend some time, as I said previously, tearing things apart, iterating based on the feedback and the data that we collected over the month-long alpha. We might have some spot tests after that breakdown period, so to speak, where we invite the Alpha 1 testers back to spot test. And then we might even have some lead-up testing by Alpha 2 players where they join in prior to Alpha 2 in the same way that our Alpha 1 players did for Alpha 1. That's kind of the expectation that should be had.
I still think we're a good 6 months before Alpha 2.
And like I said, we will be doing a recap article that will go out. So if you just check out our website, ashesofcreation.com/news. We will be putting out a recap after Alpha 1. Give us a little time, because we want to compile the data and stuff like that, and we will kind of provide you guys information in regards to what data we gathered, what things we're going to be changing, and how it's going to affect that, and then also moving forward, what we're going to be working towards. Obviously, Stephen gave you just like a gist of it, but we do want to give you a little bit more detail as well.
At best, I'm
going
thinking.
Forward. But with that, if you're ready,
and I just want to say one other thing. It's very important to note that our development takes a little bit different of a course than probably other developments you're accustomed to seeing. I know I've said this multiple times in the past, but we're not beholden to an investment group. We're not beholden to a publisher. So at the end of the day, our focus is making a very good product, and that takes time. And early on in our company, I made some miscalculations on what that time was going to be. But at the end of the day, I always said we would take the time necessary in order to produce a product, a game that answers the call of players and makes you guys proud as well as us. And hopefully along that time period over the progress of our development, because we do monthly, literally every month we've done development updates where you get to see the progress, and now you're at a state where you get to play the progress, or you get to see others play the progress. That's an important part of keeping you guys assured that, hey, we are doing the work that's necessary, and we are taking the feedback that you guys are giving in order to create a very good game, and we're showing you every step of the way. Especially now with the NDA having been dropped, you don't have to see curated videos, even though we never really curated videos.
Yeah, I was like, all the videos that we've shared are pretty much just live plays of us playing. That's why whenever anyone says like, oh, they're going to render it, I was like, yeah, just that's just
Yeah,
how you
I
render a
know.
video, but that's not like
Yes.
we don't edit
Yeah.
anything. This is just
Right.
purely the gameplay.
Yeah.
Even the Alpha 1 trailer, I don't see a lot of people put out trailers with
I
actual
know.
gameplay footage. It's usually
That's
all like
true.
cinematic stuff. We showed like
Yes.
actual gameplay to you too. So.
I remember when we did that dragon video and I was introducing people and Peter was like, good as two. And then he was like, are we going to re-record? And I was like, nope, we're going with it. And he was like, oh, okay, we're doing it. I was like, yep. But remember that?
It was
Oh
so good.
gosh, I remember the video before that,
Watch
or I
this
don't
on
even know if it was
YouTube?
that video, but like I
Feel free to like
recorded
and
once
subscribe.
and the recording failed. Recorded twice, the recording failed. 3 times, the
Follow
recording
on
failed.
Twitch.
The 4th time I was like, please let this recording work. It was
Yeah,
terrible.
so was the
Anyways,
rest of us because that was
I
4
know.
hours later.
I know. But I mean, I hope you guys see we go through sometimes painstaking efforts to keep you guys updated with the development process and give you guys a look
And by recording being the
yeah.
problem, it was not the game. It was
no,
literally
it was my recording
Steven's
software.
recording program.
It was my recording software. It was unfortunate. But anyways, no, we go through painstaking process and Maggie and Sarah and the community team do a great job in helping to especially offload the bulk of this work from prior to hiring Maggie and Sarah. Oh my gosh, let me tell you, that was another source of headache for me and just a monumental task. And it's
I think
only
because
grown.
of the way you want to, Steven.
I
You want
know.
like people to have like
I
this
know.
this interaction with everyone. Like you want like
I
every
know.
person to be answered. And I'm like, you personally cannot do that. That is
I
nuts.
know.
Please let us
But now I
let
have
us
you
take
guys,
that on.
so it's okay.
Yeah.
But yes, anyways, just to let you guys know, like this process, this time that it takes to build a game, it's done so in a way that ensures the quality of the product at the end stage is going to be where you want it to be. So appreciate the patience, appreciate you guys, giving your feedback and following along, these years, and know that we're going in the right direction. And I think we're creating a beautiful masterpiece at the end of the day. So.
And please be kind to the community team. Peter on social, Adam on CS, Sarah and Cody on the community front. They are the frontliners for us. And I think, just be kind to them. They're definitely trying their best to interact with every single person that's out there. And, I do my best to just kind of manage everything. So we're doing what we can. And we hope that we give you guys, even with, our small team, like a AAA experience that you don't get from anywhere else. All right. Going to move on to all of the amazing art that our teams have been working on. So first and foremost, we're going to head on over to environment, which, first up we have concepts art. Now, here's the thing. You're going to look at this concept art and then you're going to see the models coming up afterwards and you're going to be like, what's the difference? That's how amazing our artists are, because here's
That
all the
is true.
concepts, okay? They're going to just keep rolling in, and then I'm going to show you what the actual models look like. So these are like our fountains, our braziers, our weapon racks, banners, like the banner posts that you're going to see, gallows.
Yeah,
I
it's
think that's
definitely
the
not
gallery right there, the
dwarven.
podium, and a riser
It's
and
not
stuff like
Junior.
that. So
If
these are
it's
all things
not
that are going to
Junior,
help
I
make the
don't
world
care.
feel, more like a world. And obviously, when it comes to nodes and how nodes build
It
up,
is- it is
we really want
nice. I like a
them
little
to
stage.
not be the same. Every time you go in there, like you have like different buildings being placed, different
Bridges are nice.
types of layouts and things like that. So really what we need to do is be able to create a lot of these things. Now, if you haven't...
Just to be clear, did you say
Fountain.
gallows?
Gallows, yes.
As in like where people are like executed and hung?
Yes. Yeah,
Holy smokes, that's dark.
I know. Well, there's also
I
some...
like the Junior dwarves
But don't they
better.
just get reborn at the nearest respawn point?
Maybe, I don't know. Is there a way to like forever permadeath? Like in
Yeah, that's a good question.
some
Like in
games.
Galaxies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
sconces.
forgot where I was going with that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so like the nodes, basically, we want to make sure that
Got
the world feels
scones
different
and
every time,
braziers,
and I think that what
braziers.
goes into that is really building up all of the different buildings and items and objects that get placed. And some of these you'll be able to place yourself in your own house or on your own freehold. So keep that in mind as well. You might see variants of this that are for
It
players
does
as
look
well.
nice.
On that front, if you haven't checked
Their
out our
art has
dev
always
diaries,
looked
we do
good.
have a dev diaries that goes over how buildings are created and also how our nodes are systematically on the back end, tech wise. So if you're interested in that kind of nitty gritty stuff, go check those out. We're going to be bringing some more Dev Diaries in the future as well, which I'm really excited about. We've been preparing the storyboards for those for when we're all back in the office, so we can start recording again. I missed that. That was so fun.
I know.
So now I'm going to show you the actual assets. So this is a Dunir fence. So, a lot of people are asking, like, how will I corral my creatures or my mounts and stuff like that? You're going to have fencing that you
basic
can place
Dunir
down.
Yeah.
Exciting.
You
So
get to
seeing
have
some of this come
different
online.
different structures based on the advancement of a particular animal husbandry component of a
Dunir do
freehold
specialize in
system,
stone,
and that's
not
going to
wood,
advance as
so
you
I
advance
can
the freehold building for
see why
animal
it would look so
husbandry, which
rough.
expands the types of creatures you'll be able to actually husband. Wait, husbandry? I don't.
Breed, I think is
Oh, breed. Okay. Well, that just seemed very coarse kind of word,
It does seem like a
Yeah.
kind of word for sure. And then here are the banners and the banner posts. These are Dunir ones and Empyrean ones. And you saw the concept art. Now look, tell me what the difference is between the concept art and this 3D model. Like,
They're pretty close.
Yeah, it looks
don't
great.
know. They're so good.
Yeah, their art team is always done
We're not going
phenomenal
to see any
work.
actual people hanging from the gallows in this, right?
No, not in this
Oh, okay,
video
very good.
here.
Very good. Not in this video, but next video maybe. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, we have shown like
Oh, I
mummified
know.
people
We've
and
shown
stuff.
mummified spider-eaten people.
Yeah, Steven was very uncomfortable about it.
I was like, bacon, no!
Oh, they're in the world. You can see them.
I know.
Next up, we've got some cool fireplaces, braziers, candle holders, and these are, I believe, Kalar and Empyrean versions.
So I can see
Oh, look
somebody
at that little
making
fire-
that.
Oh, that's a
fireplace.
good
That mantle.
idea.
It's so
What if
pretty.
when people get banned for botting or like RMTing or gold buying or selling, that they get hung on their character when banned is hung on the gallows in like the center of town square for like a
horrified
day or
Steven.
something? No, I'm just saying like that's
That'd be
not a
cool.
bad
The
idea.
chat's like, yes.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Completely,
I'm
yeah,
telling you, we
public
got to think
shame.
The
about that
problem
one.
is then people will do that just so they can get that notoriety.
mean,
You realize?
Well,
Yeah. See,
it's
you're
true.
they're promoting. This is why we shouldn't promote.
I don't know. Is somebody gonna?
Yeah, that's a whole
What
other
if their
conversation.
what if
Pay
their
a
name is
$15
not
a
shown,
month?
so they don't get the notoriety, but their characters there?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, we'll have to think about
We'll
that one.
talk about it. Here's also some statues. These are
Hey,
really
Jarl.
beautiful.
Ooh, very pretty.
So I believe these are Kalar statues.
They're
But
definitely
Steven,
not
you can correct
Dwarven.
me if I'm wrong.
Yes, those
They
are
look
Kalar.
Yeah,
Yeah. Very nice.
they're so pretty.
Great statues. Who did these statues?
I don't have the name.
User
off
joined
the
your
top of my
channel.
head.
Aw.
User left your channel.
I'm gonna
Sorry,
guess.
Twan joined us for a moment.
I'm gonna guess Hal.
Hal.
That's my guess, but I don't know.
Does look very nice.
And then we have some miscellaneous ones here. I'll put in my notes in the future who made each one, so like I can have the answer for you. We
Did
have,
somebody join our live stream?
Yeah, it was Twan. he meant to join the live ops channel and he joined our channel. So we have Empyrean podium, these amazing windows, which are also Empyrean windows. Look how gorgeous those windows are. I never thought I'd be
Yep,
talking about how
very
gorgeous
nice.
windows are, but they're gorgeous.
Through the
And then we have the Kalar Bridge
windows
and
at the
the weapon rack,
walls
but you're seeing
till the
some of these things
swept
like
drops.
in-game versus the model.
I'll
and
let you guys
honestly,
fill in
I
the
can't
rest.
tell, or versus the concept art. I can't tell the difference. So great job to
That
our
looks really
environment
good.
team. They are killing it. Amazing job to our concept
the
art
art
team,
has always
who has
been
just been
phenomenal in
pumping
this
out
game.
concept art left and right. Some of these are work in progress, obviously, so keep that in mind as we're, moving forward. You're going to see different iterations of these, but I always like showing you guys kind of like the process. Moving on to character art. This guy is so cute.
It's a
This is
thorny
the Dredge
toad.
Horn. This
Oh,
part's
I
my
love
favorite because I
this
get to see a lot of
guy.
stuff I
Yawn.
designed come to life, and I'm
This
like,
guy's so
"Oh."
cool. I like the little hairs on his skin.
Yeah, I was like, I want him to have little spiky bits, like little hairy frog hair
Yeah.
bits.
Yeah, he's a very thorny
Look
toad.
at him.
He's so cool. I love like
Definitely
the
looks like
a
snout,
dog
how
now.
it turned out. It's
Yeah.
just so freaking
He
good.
better have a long tongue, because
He
otherwise,
does.
how is
His
he going to
neck
eat?
reminds me, I told you, of the Slann from like Lizardman
Yeah.
Army. I used to play Warhammer Fantasy a lot of tabletop, and the Slans were like the big mages of the armies or whatever, and their neck kind of looks a little bit like that.
Next up, we've got the Polywagon, which is a different type of frog, and you can kind of see like the body is a little different, but we're using like the same. It kind of allows us to use a similar body, like body shapes and animations, which helps us make more creatures faster.
Yeah,
But
same
this
skeleton
is looking
structure.
sick.
I can't wait to see the animation for him
When
with
he
that
hops.
caravan on his back. Yeah, the caravan. I don't know.
Or he
have
like
to-
sticks, like
He's
sticky
gonna have to
legs.
walk.
Yeah, I have to do probably the sticky leg.
Yeah, sticky leg
Physics
walk.
might get a little weird if he's
He
hopping.
starts hopping, but it kind of be fun to like be like the little like bouncing
Being the
around.
back of the
Yeah,
cart. Boom,
That'd be a
boom,
rough
boom,
ride.
boom.
That'd be a rough ride.
Would be a rough ride.
Be like hydraulics.
Next up, we have our hefty capling. Ooh, you get a booty shot to start with here. I can't tell the difference between this and concept art, really. Like,
Is that a
it's just-
booty? Do mushrooms have butts? Do they have like
I don't know,
functioning
but he looks like he's
digestive
got
tracts?
a booty.
Maybe that's just his root system. Like he has two different roots.
Two different booty roots.
Yeah, booty roots.
Well, it looks like he's got boots on, hip huggers.
I like
Oh,
him though.
that's
He's
Go
so
all the
cool.
way up.
cute. He's adorable. I was like, I want him to be like evil
Arms
looking.
kind of
but
look
cute.
like, you know.
And
I
I,
love
think
the
because he
cap.
doesn't have a mouth, yeah. The cap is cool.
He does. He looks like
looks like
he
a
has a
penis
little
and balls.
tiny mouth right in the center of his eyes.
No.
If you look, okay, I might have to
No?
pause it.
No,
but
my-
if
What
you're
is that? Is it just a nose then?
It's just the
Okay, so down here, sack, cock. So yeah, it looks like a dick. You know, going in either direction. That's what I'm seeing here.
speckles.
Or
on
just
his
a
body.
speckle.
Yeah, he's got little speckles.
So ball sack.
Next up, we have
Ball
the
sack and
terror
cock.
bird.
Ooh.
And if you don't mind kind of chatting a little bit about
that
this
looks
guy,
cool.
I'll be right back really quick.
Ooh,
Yeah, sure, not a
Different
problem.
variations.
So this is a bird, and he's definitely a terror. Like he's scary to a degree.
He looks fierce.
You can tell he's a bird because he has some feathers there.
Really short wings. though.
Feathers on his
Kinda
as
cute.
hands, right? Also, his beak is kind of bird-like. So it's a beautiful bird. But it's like if a dinosaur had become a bird, but not quite yet a bird fully, you know? So it's still kind of dinosaur-esque, which is the terror part of the bird. So he's a terror bird because of the dinosaur-esque elements.
So you're saying that
And that's a very
dinosaurs are-
important part of being a terror
terrifying?
bird. But you'll also notice that he has a saddle and some reins, and that's important because then people
I
get to
know
ride the
some
terror bird,
birds that
and
look
that makes
very
him a mount. So
scary,
he's
but
a
are
mount
very, very
terror
nice
bird.
birds.
So there you go.
Mount Terror
I've,
Bird.
yes, I've successfully explained the entire concept of how he's a mount terror bird while you were gone.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to rewatch that. But I love seeing like the different
Looking at the
iterations of the
saddle,
creatures, and like I think this is so
Definitely,
cool
I'm
looking.
thinking orc.
No, it is very
Orc
cool looking.
base
And
mount.
I believe Jincy did this, yeah? I think this is
Yeah, I think this is
Jincy.
Something
Jincy.
that's-
Yeah.
Jincy is just
No, I really
one
love
day
the
we'll get
alter-
her on the stream.
I
Or-
love the colors. To
Yeah,
be
it's
fair,
not
though, when I
Nakua.
see its wings, I think of like buffalo wings. Like I would eat that. You know what I mean? So almost I'd want to hunt this creature. But at the same time, it's very beautiful. So I would want to capture it as well.
You know what? Why don't we have in our culinary
Steven
stuff? We have
wants,
like little
mountain.
terror wings.
Oh, that's a good
Spicy-
question.
spicy
One of the
terror
taverns
rings.
might have some spicy terror rings.
Who?
Yeah.
Which race would make the spicy terror rings, though?
Probably
Terror.
either the Tulnar or the Vec, I would say.
Interesting, Vec. Really, I feel like Vec are like very smart and sophisticated. Almost.
Oh, they are very
Yeah.
smart, but they might have a thing against terror birds because
Oh.
you would imagine that having kind of been localized to the more mountainous regions and areas, they probably are at odds with many of the avian species.
Okay, fair.
Right,
Yeah.
and because of that, you know, they might have vendettas to serve, so to speak, against those avian species of all kinds, particularly those who derive from more dinosaur-esque looking backgrounds because they likely ate some Vec
I don't think this guy
in their
flies.
ancestor. No, he definitely doesn't, but he's going there. You know what I mean? And they want to prevent that species from continuing to evolve into an avian predator that might then pluck them off the tops of these mountains and eat them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome.
That beak
Moving
is
on to the
quite
next one here,
nutcracker.
we've got our Crystalline Revenant. Now this, I believe, is still work in progress, but look how
Just
cool
got a
he's
big
looking.
hole blasted in his chest.
He's looking pretty cool. It looks like he got hit with a fireball straight
Yeah, he's
to the
missing his,
chest.
because it's a little gem thing that's in there. I think it's going to be particle effect, probably.
Oh, nice.
But
So
yeah,
he's like an Iron Man-esque looking.
yeah.
I probably shouldn't say that, but
There you go.
He doesn't look like Iron
Let
Man at
it
all, so I
go.
think
no, I know. But you
people
said
get
that
the
he was
concept.
missing a thing in the chest. I was
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah.
yeah. I know.
I know, it kind of
This was part of one of
more
our
like
December
the
sets that I helped
ice
design. and
ice
it's
monster from Let It Go.
cool.
From,
He looks
yeah,
cool.
He looks
Frozen.
chill.
Yeah,
Somebody
he
said
looks
he
like,
looks chill.
I'm imagining him as like a little pet.
But he also kind of looks
He
like
looks like a walking
Doomsday
ice cave.
from the Justice League
True.
movie.
Like you
there.
could just
Yeah.
live inside his
Or
chest.
Batman
Live
versus
inside of his
Superman
chest.
or
Maybe he's big
whatever.
enough that you can just be coddled inside the chest
Or
cavity.
You know, 'cause
can you imagine like a
kinda get
little?
all
Have like little
spiky.
reins where you'd like control him
Yeah.
from inside. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
That would actually be kind of cool.
Pacific
Now I
Rim.
want like there to be like a golem or some kind
What
of
if
creature
that
living
like
in
a
there.
siege at like a castle siege, you could summon a giant version of this as a golem, and like as the summoner, you just climb up into the cavity and just like direct the thing to
Don't
walk
get me
towards the
excited,
wall,
Steven. That
and it
sounds
just like
amazing.
slams into the wall. Oh, that'd be so cool.
Well, now we have to do that.
Yeah, you have to talk to
That sounds
kaiju.
awesome. So this next creature is one that everyone calls the Snorse, but it is called the Wisp-Welk, and now you're going to see it being created.
The Snorse.
The Snorse. I thought you were going to be like, no, Maggie, what are you creating this monstrosity? But you were actually
No, I
excited
love
about it.
Yeah.
Because originally,
This
when I
is
sent
like
over
a
the design,
win-win.
I was like, I want a horse and a
Yeah,
snail
look at
to
the
have a baby.
dangulars.
So.
And the great thing from a production standpoint is this can use the skeletal rig of the horse with some adaptation. But that's always a
Your
good thing.
mount, Yoda? Yeah,
I'm
is
sure
this
the
one you
animators
paid
were
for?
very happy with that.
They were excited, I know, to see what would come of this.
Oh.
We actually have a turntable of this as well, obviously in a T pose. That's why his tail is like sticking out. I just love the idea of, and I've talked
Wonder
about
if
this
it'll
before,
leave a
of just
trail
like
of
seeing
slime.
something like slugging along, and then all of a sudden, and you get up to it, and it just stands up and starts chasing you. It just sounds horrifying, and I love every bit of it.
I really want the like
a little slick so
spacebar
it can get
animation
away.
for this guy to be where he kind of sits down on top of his legs to the point where they disappear,
Yeah.
and he just looks like a snail without the legs.
Yeah.
That'd be cool, like spacebar animation.
And then he like stands up, and you're like,
And then he stands up, and you're like, "What is this monstrosity?"
and like, you know how slugs or snails like leave like a little trail behind them? It's got to leave like a little gross slug trail behind it. Yeah. All right.
Very
Anyways,
cool.
moving on from there, we're gonna move into some costumes. So we've got our Wrath's Legacy.
Ooh, very
um,
Conan the
here.
Barbarian looking.
It's looking pretty amazing. I think this is from like 2018. A while ago.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
was
Loki-
a while ago,
Loki-
but it's
Loki
looking
helmet.
great. Don't we
I
have
love
like a
the
little?
axe.
Does it turn side to side a little bit? Oh, there it goes.
Yeah, I have a turntable too of it, so I'll share that in a moment. I just wanted to share the still.
I
stuff.
love
Very
I
gladiator.
love the horns, the helmet.
That looks very
Mhm.
gladiator.
I don't want to mention what it reminds me of, but it reminds me of something, and
Okay.
Duck
I
penis
think it looks really cool.
for the girl.
It's extremely
This is
cool.
corkscrew. I remember they were talking about
Look
that
how
once. I think.
awesome that is.
And then
So
yeah,
sick.
his helmet
I can't wait to
definitely
see
looks
like
like
NPCs
Loki.
in the world that we place utilizing some of these and some variants
Yeah,
of them.
definitely a Loki.
Oh
helmet.
yeah.
And last
Did
but
you
not
say?
least-
I'm sorry. What?
and some variants of them.
What?
Variants.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Did I say it?
No.
right?
No, you said it right, but I don't think you've seen it yet. So go ahead.
Okay.
I'll tell you after the stream.
Okay. I'm scared. Everyone else is laughing. I'm such an
know.
innocent soul. I don't know what's happening right now.
No,
Okay.
no. It's neither innocent nor guilty. It's just,
Okay. All right.
it is funny.
Next up we have here
Awesome. Full plate.
this beautiful armor piece. This is a Kalar plate armor. I believe it's tier 5, but it's still work in progress, so it's not
Now,
completely
this
done
is-
yet.
This is an important one because this is an example of in-game achievable armor sets. And I know many times people say, we've seen a lot of the cosmetic development and production, and that's because we have a significant backlog, obviously, of those things, and they're an important part of making the world, right?
Yeah.
But here's an example of player character armor that can be achieved in game, just to give you an idea comparatively of what these armors look like against the cosmetics. And it's a very important aspect that when we offer these cosmetics, that these skins that can be applied to armors, that the in-game achievables are actually the best type of looking armors you can achieve, right? Or are comparable, at least, at the
It
very
looks
least.
okay.
Because a lot of times in the games that I've played, they incentivize people to make those cosmetic, shop purchases
Got a good
by
junk
making
protector
the
there.
in-game achievables trash tier looking.
Yeah.
Good,
And
good
that is not the
armor
case
for the armpits
with
as well.
ashes. So
You are a little exposed here at
here's
the
an
elbow.
example. You can take a look. One of many that'll soon be coming out. We'll be
And,
showing more of.
We've shown it. We've
That-
shown
that's
quite a few.
definitely
Hey, I know
too.
we've shown a
weakness.
lot.
We
but
don't
I
want to
just see
show
it,
too
yeah.
much too, because we do want you
No,
guys
you
to
got
like
really
get
good
excited
protection
and,
at the shoulders
experience things
and the
too
neck.
in the game.
Neck's
Yes,
got really
but
good
that's
protection
important
there.
because as I go across Reddit and I read people who are uninformed about the game, they're like, "Oh, there's so many cosmetics, and it's going to make the in-game stuff look,
No.
cheap and not good." That's not the case. You see it here. There are 4,600 people watching this stream right now. When you see other people say that, you can clip this or you can point to this image.
Show them
and you
past
can
videos.
say
We've
that's
shown off
not the
tons.
case. Exactly.
We've shown off a few. But yeah, this is not the case. I mean, have you seen our artists? I don't think anything they
That's
make is
true.
going to be bad.
That is true. Good. That's true. It's true.
But yeah, I love this. This looks so cool. I like the cloak, how it has like that like a little
Split.
tier.
The face does remind me a little bit of Shredder.
Yeah.
But,
people keep saying that.
I know. But to be fair, I thought Shredder looked badass, so that's okay.
It's true. It does. The armor itself overall looks very different than that. But I can see where people are going with it. And now I know what people were talking about previously. And no, I have not gotten to see that yet because I have been working on Alpha 1 crazy hours. So that
Wait,
is
what?
why.
Shredder?
No, the
That was
previous
like 20
one.
years ago.
No, the
Oh.
previous.
Oh, I see. Yes, that's true.
Okay. I think that's it for this. So we're going to move into our Q&A segment, and we'll just play the video that Stephen had provided us for the design segment whilst we get through these questions. So let me.
I think, how many questions do we have? Because we might,
10 questions.
10 questions. Okay, I'm going to try to rapid round the
Okay.
questions.
I will ask them quick, rapid round. Let's see how
Yes.
quickly.
And if
got
I
any
make any
questions?
mistakes, I'll correct them afterwards.
Sounds good. Sunscript from the forum wants to know about node buildings. What happens to materials gathered and contributed to build a node building if the mayor decides to scrap the project?
They are lost. Next question.
Dave N wants to know keybinds. Will we be able to trigger
fair.
skills with combinations of different keystrokes and reuse the same keys as part of different combinations?
Yes.
Diego
Sounds
MF
like a
wants to know
macro.
about corruption. If I damage a fellow player, but then let the mob they're fighting finish them off, will I gain any corruption?
No.
This is an exploit people have been like asking
It,
about. actually.
That's a
so
major
it's important to
potential
note
exploit.
that the idea is going to be that unless a player is in your party, alliance, guild, or raid, that you will not have definitive knowledge of their exact hit point values. So when you do something that's sketch like that, where you want to bring them close to death and let a monster finish them off, you are taking the risk of overhitting and actually gaining the corruption. So that's, but it's something obviously we're going to test.
But you're going to be able to
yeah, and
figure
right
it out.
now you can see everyone's health bars to some extent.
Correct.
So, which won't be what it will be like in Endgame.
Correct.
Doken wants to know about sprinting. Will sprinting be based on stamina/time, or will we be able to run forever like in the current Alpha 1 testing?
I've instructed design to incorporate a mana consumption that's percentage based for sprinting. So it'll be a similar amount of time that each class, regardless of their mana values, will have in order to sprint, and it will not be accessible while in a combat. So that will be implemented later, and again, something we will be testing with.
And Nodalis wants to know, and of
Interesting.
course, I'm sorry if I pronounce anyone's names wrong, about fishing. Do you plan to keep fishing location based? Find the sparklies like other harvesting we've seen during Alpha 1, or will I be able to fish anywhere in any water?
So it's important to note that there will be multiple types of fishing. There will be a more sports-oriented fishing, which may include some type of mini game as part of in order to fish that will have higher rewards, and those will be primarily location based. Sparklies that are currently you seeing in Alpha 1, the whole gathering component of Alpha 1 is not the intended gathering for the actual game. You will not be seeing sparklies on resources and out in the world. That's just a kind of gap measure right now so that we can indicate to players, because we haven't had time to implement the actual UI and the actual gathering systems in place. So there won't be sparkles. And then additionally, there will be a type of fishing
No
where
sparkles?
you can fish with any water, but that will be a much more lower form of fishing that will yield much lesser types of rewards.
Awesome. Yeah. I think
That-
we've
that sounds
kind of
fair.
answered some of that in the past as well.
Hey, Dolium.
Maybe not that specific question, though.
Welcome back.
Frog and Night Songer wants to know about religion. Will we be able to worship the others and build temples for them in a divine node?
No, you won't be able to build temples in divine. No, you won't be able to build a temple to the others in divine nodes. And you will not be able to worship them in the same way that the primary religions have worship. However, there will be quest paths that do take you along a more darker route, which can lead to certain types of worship for the others.
Intriguing.
All right. Alex Xavier wants to know
Yeah,
about
that's where you
projectiles.
risk
Will projectiles be
corruption becoming
separated
a
from their
thing,
respective weapons?
you'll have to
Example,
get
will I need to
corruption or
buy
something.
/ craft arrows for my bow?
That is a good question that we're still discussing in design, so I don't have an answer yet for you.
Okay. And Magic Man wants to know about ships. How early into our adventure will we be able to own a ship?
That's a good question.
make it a
I would say
DLC.
probably around like level 10 or 15, you may have certain quests that navigate you towards creating a small personal vessel, one of the smallest types of ships that you can have. I would say that's probably around the time frame that we would introduce characters to naval gameplay.
Cool, cool. And
make it a
Ravuda
DLC.
wants to know about item transfers. Are players restricted from transferring materials / resources between alts through freehold storage, similar to the restrictions on warehouse storage?
If the question is with regards to materials, I would say no. You will be able to have alts be part of your access requirements or settings on housing and or storage within that housing.
Okay, cool. And Jalan wants to know combat pets.
But again, to be
oh,
clear,
sorry, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, to be clear, that storage is localized, so it's not going to be advantageous in the sense that I could then use an alt to transfer or move materials by accessing it from another storage container. So, yeah, go ahead.
Thank you for clarifying. Jalan wants to know about combat pets. If you have to invest some portion of your power into having a combat pet, how soon after it dies will that power be returned to you?
That's
Fair
a good question. I
question.
think the power gets delegated as the combat pet is summoned, right? As the
So when
combat
it
pet
despawns,
is
it
when it despawns, you would presumably, and again, this is subject to testing, you'd presumably be receiving that power back immediately.
And, summoning a pet, you can't just like insta necessarily. And one last question is from Kibs or Kibis, and they want to know about gear. What are your plans to keep old gear relevant / useful after new expansion releases? And I like this question.
Yeah. So a big component of gear usefulness or relevancy as either you're
eye
progressing
level
or
and
as
WoW
expansions
kind
come
of
out or
thing.
whatnot is that there is a deconstruction method associated with gear. And that deconstruction can provide very specific and necessary crafting materials
Get hot in
that can
here.
only be achieved through deconstruction of certain types of gears. And then additionally, as we kind of consider expansions and additional itemization paths and tiers going forward, all gear is going to remain relevant within the tiers that they exist, right? So from a progression standpoint, as you achieve access to different types of tiers, those gears are still going to have relevancy within that tier.
Awesome.
So it's
And
not
that is going to wrap it up.
instant,
You did pretty good. That was pretty quick, Stephen.
Yeah.
instant
Got it.
uselessness.
You did a
which is
good job. And with that, we're going to be wrapping up our live stream for July. It has been a crazy month for us. We're very excited to have lots of people testing with us. We know that we have a long journey ahead of us towards, Alpha 2 as well. And we appreciate all of the feedback that you guys have sent us continue to send us feedback on the forums and all of the social platforms. You can find us at Ashes of Creation everywhere. If you are watching live right now, we are going to wrap up the giveaway. So thank you for joining the giveaway.
Okay, so yeah, they just go into their giveaway stuff, whatever. So that's pretty much the update. So yeah, some good stuff, some good clarification as far as why we're not seeing all the core systems right now while they're calling it an alpha. And why they're splitting the alpha from 1 to 2. That's good. I like the combat change where you're not having to do the melee attack and your character's constantly moving forward. I like that there's going to be an option where you can kind of turn that off and you can kind of stand there and swing away. That to me seems more natural. I mean, I've swung a sword. I don't lunge 6 feet every time I take a swing. Same with a baseball bat, same with a hockey stick, same with really anything that would be seen as a weapon of some kind. Not to say that you don't sometimes, right? Like it depends on the power and stuff like that. But you're not going to lunge quite the same way that you do in the way it's been. So apparently that change has been implemented into the game already. Servers are down, so I'm all updated, but servers are down right now. And yeah, Alpha 1 it's fun. Like I said, I've just been really busy with work lately, so I haven't had the opportunity to get in and play as much. And when I did have a little bit of time, they had some massive DDoS attacks, which basically took them offline for most of a week. So I've been playing other games, Tribes of Midgard lately, Satisfactory. I'm going to try and get back into some Valheim, hence the Viking theme. But yeah, no, some really good stuff here. So it's really good that they have some progress. Like they said, if you're kind of new to watching it live, once their month long here wraps up, I think they said on the 13th. There'll be a couple of months where there may not be much for spot testing. There might not be much for alpha testers to do anything, and that's because they're going to be crunching all the numbers, looking at the feedback, and going through their systems, reassessing, and implementing changes and stuff like that, which is to be expected, right? That's perfectly normal, natural, so that's great. And they're already talking about Alpha 2. I would say if there's an Alpha 2, it's not going to start until the new year. Would be my guess. I think we're still going to be in this Alpha 1 thing until at least Q1 next year, simply because we have a lot of holidays coming up. You got Thanksgiving, you got Christmas, and so that's going to be a bit of a break. If they're still moving into the office and stuff like that, they have all these changes they need to make, which they said it's going to take a couple of months. We're already in 8 out of 12. So you figure come around 10, right, October, maybe November, that's when we'll get back in as Alpha 1 to probably start, seeing what the new changes are. They'll have to do some new number crunching and kind of test all of the changes that they've made. So I'm thinking that's going to be up to Christmas break. They'll probably open everything up for Christmas, New Year, for like Alpha 1s, and just kind of let us have at it. And then probably bring it down, do some more tweaking, and then that would be, I think of maybe March, you might maybe see an Alpha 2 kick in. And an Alpha 2 apparently is supposed to be persistent, so it'll continue even when the game goes live, right? So it's going to become the public test server after the game goes live, from what I understand. At least that was the plan. And it's supposed to take place in the actual world, on the actual world map. I guess it's supposed to take place in one of the corners of the map. I think they said northwest kind of area. So we'll have to see how that goes. They might just expand maybe Alpha 1 Island or something like that. So really looking forward to that. I know Alpha has been fun when I've had the chance to play it. It does get a little monotonous because there's not a lot of content, and with all the wipes and stuff like that. I mean, going from that, the first 6 levels and constantly redoing those, it gets a little tedious. I think that's may have lost a few viewers overall, but it's it's not about the content right now. It's about testing those core foundational systems. I do hope that nodes don't level up as easily or quickly as they do in the alpha, because it seems like they level up really, really fast. Um, I'm hoping it's going to take a little more time than what it currently does. It really needs to feel like an achievement. And with the nodes playing such a massive part, I think getting to that village stage shouldn't be something that can happen in an afternoon. And I'm pretty sure it's made that way right now, just so that they can kind of see how well those systems are working. I can't imagine the way it is right now is how it's intended. Um, so I'm pretty sure that's just a temporary alpha thing. And yeah, so there's the July development update. Just the two of them, no Bacon, who's now the community, the development lead, and but that's okay. We still got some really good information, and yeah, a lot of good stuff. So I would say this has again been one of the more substantive updates than what we've had over the last year. And I'd say that the one before this was June had some good content. So it seems now that the NDA is lifted, we're getting more content as far or better information, right? There's definitely a lot more communication coming through, and being part of both the NDA and the non-NDA alpha testing. Uh, if you weren't a part of that, and when I wasn't a part of that, it really felt like we weren't getting the kind of communication that they keep talking about, that they keep referencing. But once I got in there, there's a lot of communication that they're doing. So they're doing a lot of their communication behind the scenes, behind the locked doors, right? But now that those doors are unlocking, we can see more and more of that communication that they're doing, and yeah, there's a decent amount of it. And I have to give them credit. They own. When there's mistakes, they're owning them. You don't see that from a lot of developers, and I like that. Stevens, again, he's committing to making a great game, and if he has to delay, there'll be a delay. And I fully expect there will be delays, and I'm okay with that. I think, based on a lot of the feedback, I would imagine that there are some things that they're probably going to have to go back and look at, for sure. And again, there's some really good questions. Good question there about the corruption thing. Because that's the one thing about this game that can turn me off like that, is if this corruption isn't a deterrent, right? Because that's, Steven said for years that corruption is meant to be a disincentive for player killing, player griefing, corpse camping, stuff like that. Yet to see it, right? Like, they turned on PvP and forced everybody to be flagged for PvP for a few days, and I didn't bother. I want none of that. And yeah, there's a lot of people going around just hey, you're flagged, I'm gonna whack you. And then there's people that, hey, you're just a lower level, I'm gonna whack you. And there are going to be people that are going to intentionally want to play corrupted all the time. And if there is going to be a chain of quests that you can in some way honor or worship the other, then I'm wondering, and I'm concerned, is that going to require you to become corrupted to gain access to certain things, to gain access to content? Because at that point now, corruption is no longer a disincentivization, because now corruption's part of the advancement of the game, and it's already kind of that way with a bounty hunter system, right? Because that's the bounty hunters, they need corrupted people to advance through their bounty system. And so again, it doesn't feel like it's a punishment so much, as it's going to become, to some people, a necessary part of the game. And again, I'm okay with consensual PvP, and there's a ton of that in this game. Sieges, uh, caravans, things like that, right? Like, there's a lot of things that I, at some point, if I'm going to be a gatherer, of things, which I will be, at some point I'm going to have to run a caravan. I'm going to have to choose PvP. Or I can come upon a caravan and I can help or hinder, right? I have a choice. If my node comes under attack, right? Now, again, I have a choice. I either, participate or I don't. If I don't participate and help out the node, then I lose stuff, right? So I don't want that. So there's already really good, effective, consensual PvP in the game. And I don't think we need that random, oh, I'm 10 levels higher than you. I'm going to whack you on the head so I can get corruption so that I can now go and do a quest because I want to worship the other, or I want to do something that takes me down that different path, or, I want to help boost some friends because they are going the bounty hunter route and they need to kill corrupted people or something like that, right? Like, we don't know enough about that system necessarily. It hasn't been tested or anything like that. So a lot of this is just guesswork, right? It's just kind of hoping that these are unfounded guesses and conclusions and stuff like that. So anyways, going to wrap things up here. I'm going to go play some games. And yeah, thanks guys for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, backaltar.ttv. I usually post more like real life stuff, pictures of cats, and I just got a little cactus thing. I got to figure out where to put it so it gets a little bit of sun. So and computer bits and whatnot. So it's kind of the other side of that. So thank you guys so much for hanging out, and hopefully you guys have yourselves a good night. And if you're following me on Twitch, twitch.tv/backaltar, yeah, I'm going to head off and play some games. You can follow me there.